A company's strategy is a map to how to dominate in a market. There's normally months of work put into a strategy, and this is a good thing, but sometimes factors, whether it be external or internal, could mean that your strategy needs to change and very quickly. Let's look at some examples today of some really big companies in the biotech space that were forced to change their strategy and adapt to ensure their market position. Hi, I'm Yadvid. I'm a product manager in the biotech industry, and welcome to Embark Bio. In this video, we'll look at three big pharmaceutical companies and see how factors forced their hand to change their strategy and how they actually adapted their strategy to ensure market success. So in the first example, let's look at Roche. Roche had an amazing partnership with Genentech. Genentech, of course, is a legendary biotech company that's developed some of the most amazing drugs in the world that have saved the lives of millions of people, Herceptin being one for cancer, for example. Now, this partnership was really fruitful for both companies. Many lives were saved and much money was also generated. But there were some headwinds coming Roche's way, which was actually quite concerning, however. There was more competitors coming to the market to develop alternative cancer drugs. And even more concerning is the exclusive partnership that Roche had with Genentech was due to expire in a few years. And Roche didn't have any internal pipeline of drugs they can bring through. So what should they do? They already had a partnership with Genentech. What Roche ultimately decided was to wholly acquire Genentech. Now, a risk with a hostile takeover such as this, as you may lose key people within a company, and that is absolutely devastating for a biotech company or any deep tech company. You're not simply acquiring machinery, and you're not even simply acquiring IP. The real driver of the innovation is the people and the culture that's there. And Genentech was known to having some of the brightest people within biotech in the world and having some of the best culture, which had the most innovative products in the world. So what could Roche do to ensure that this culture was actually kept? Once they were actually able to acquire Genentech, they made some key changes to preserve this culture. One of which was taking some of the C-suite positions from the headquarters in Switzerland and bringing it over to the United States to Genentech's headquarters in San Francisco. As a result of these changes to preserve the culture as well, they also unfortunately had to shut down their US R&D division in New Jersey and bring people over to San Francisco. Now, this was a difficult decision because many people would have been laid off from New Jersey, but for the company as a whole, in terms of moving this focus of R&D to Genentech's head office in San Francisco, this center of gravity change was pivotal to ensuring that the culture of innovation remained. As a result of that, Genentech still is one of the most innovative companies in the world, even though they're under the Roche umbrella. Now let's look at a second example. Amgen are known for having some of the most amazing products in biologics, and they really are the key innovator and driver in this field. However, the market was shifting through the introduction of biosimilars. Biosimilars, these are sort of Me Too drugs that have come off patent or coming onto the market. And patients are demanding more of these drugs. The FDA is also showing a preference to approve biosimilars to give more market access to these drugs to more people. So what should Amgen do? They're a key innovator in biologics, and they don't want to be seen as producing this Me Too product as a biosimilar. At surface level, it seems like a contradiction for them. However, what they did is follow their North Star. Their North Star was ensuring they gave the best drugs possible to the most amount of people around the world at an accessible price point. They did realize that biosimilars allowed them to do this even more effectively. Now, crucially, what Amgen did is they maintained the innovative culture for biologics, but they were able to move that over to the biosimilar production method and ensure they had world-class biologics. Now, as a result of this change, more people around the world are able to access these amazing life-saving drugs that Amgen produce, and this is a win for everyone. Now, let's move to a black swan event that actually is influencing a change in strategy. And of course, I'm referring to the pandemic. This caused a number of disruptions around the world for all companies, but even more so biotechs and biopharmas than anyone else. There was this immediate need to get vaccines in the arms of people as quick as possible while preserving safety. Now, we know this was a huge challenge because vaccines take many, many years to develop, to trial, to manufacture, and distribute. What Pfizer was able to do is to develop a partnership with Biotech to take their IP, which was the mRNA messenger vaccine, and develop a COVID-19 product out of it. And this is a classic example at the face value of a very large biopharma partnering up with a smaller, innovative company and ensuring that innovative product makes it to the market. However, the key under this scenario was actually compressing the timelines down to a much smaller scale that is normally possible. And what Pfizer achieved here was remarkable in terms of setting a new standard for healthcare. We were able to push how quickly we were able to develop blockbuster drugs and do it safely at the same time. And it really involved marshalling their resources in trial design, in manufacturing, in distribution, and working with regulators such as the FDA to ensure that an innovative trial design could be made, so parallel testing could be conducted and parallel manufacturing could be made around the world to ensure that these vaccines got into the hands of as many people as possible. Now, across these three examples, we have three companies that already were quite dominant in their markets. However, all of them required some type of strategic pivot as a result of some sort of action happening externally. They all had to do some type of internal reflection and sizing capabilities to determine what strategic shift they need to make. And they all made that change and quite successfully. Now, you can't take a shortcut and simply throw out a strategy at a whim. You do need to actually still go through a rigorous process to actually develop a strategy, but you do need to be flexible in how you go about doing it. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any examples of strategic shifts that companies have made that you think is worth sharing, please do comment below. Your contributions help everyone grow and foster a community where we can all do better. I hope you really enjoyed this video and see you in the next one. Thank you.